Hello and welcome to lesson number one of the Vitality Rewire Your Mind, Reclaim Your Health Challenge. I'm so grateful that you're here. I'm very, very excited that you're here. And today we are laying the foundation with awareness because we cannot change what we are unaware of. And this is the first step toward healing, but not only healing, it's really the first step toward accomplishing any health goal or objective that we have for ourselves. So, something that you may or may not be aware of is that our subconscious mind basically runs the show in our lives. We have thousands, tens of thousands of thoughts every single day, hundreds, if not thousands, of actions. And our subconscious mind actually controls 95% of what we think, believe, and what we do. 95%, that is crazy, just running on autopilot in the background. And our subconscious mind also stores all of the learned patterns, emotional memories, and beliefs that we've had over the years. And what's really interesting also is that a lot of these were formed actually between ages 2 and 7. And this was a stage in our life where the theta brainwaves, there are multiple different brainwaves that we have running at any given time. Theta brainwaves are just one of them, and this will come up later in the program as well. But during this time, this is when we were like a sponge, highly impressionable, and we can still access theta brainwaves today in order to make lasting change on our subconscious. So, very, very cool, but also necessary to bring into our awareness that a lot of the things that we think, feel, and believe have been carried with us from a very young age. So, some things that we heard growing up are, it runs in the family. This is just how your body is. You'll have to live with it. And we've been told these things by people in traditionally positions of authority. So this carries through today. So when we hear someone in a position of authority or perceived authority, when they say there are no answers, or you'll need to be on medication for the rest of your life, or this is just going to be difficult, or something that I was told, you'll just have to learn to live with the pain. We take these in, and our subconscious pretty much harbors these beliefs as fact. As adults, these form or frame our health story. But today we're going to uncover these things so we can actually move forward, because so often we give away our power. Our body does not want to be in pain. It doesn't want to be broken. It's not turning against us. Okay. It wants to be able to accomplish the goals that we hope to achieve. But a lot of these things that we've just carried with us throughout our lives are standing in our way. And our brain actually doesn't check to see if these things are true. It just repeats the familiar. So, alongside with that, I want to talk to you about how our brain actually influences our biology. So we have thoughts, but they don't really mean anything until we give them meaning. But what happens is we have a thought, and based on what we're storing in our subconscious, our beliefs about that thought, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent, when we have that thought, a chemical cascade begins. And what happens is we begin to form an emotion, a feeling, a physical response to these thoughts. So when we have things that cross our mind that are feel fearful or hopeless, and if you're living with a chronic condition, or even if you've been struggling to keep up with nutrition, and you might have thoughts of despair saying, I just can't seem to stick with anything. This just isn't for me. Nothing seems to work for me. We end up putting ourselves into a negative state where our heart rate rises, our muscles tighten, inflammation begins or persists or gets worse, healing pauses, and we're stuck. Our efforts are thwarted. All right. Now, likewise, when we have thoughts that are hopeful, full of peace, gratitude, so on and so forth, our brain releases neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin and oxytocin. These are the neurotransmitters of connection, calm, and joy. So it calms us down rather than putting ourselves in a state of fight or flight or feeling like we are never going to be able to accomplish what we set out to accomplish, regardless of what that health goal might be. So our thoughts, again, produce emotions, and this leads to a biochemical cascade, which in turn can either keep us stuck or help us move forward. So over time, these thoughts actually form our physiology and what's going on a molecular level every single day. So it's really important that we become aware of these patterns and understand what's going on. And this is the most powerful step toward healing and toward change that we could activate in our lives. So this is something that I work with directly one-on-one with my Vitality clients because it is so important. These steps are the number one thing that is missed when it comes to health programs, fitness programs, healing programs. And it is crucial because if we don't lay this foundation, then we're going to get hung up somewhere along the line. So we are going to knock down these barriers so you can move forward. And it may take time, and that is okay. It's going to take repetition, and that is normal. We have a lifetime of thoughts and beliefs that we need to basically unravel and rewrite, and we're here to do that together. So we need to bring these into awareness, and that's what we're going to start with today. So in your workbook after the lesson, here's what you're looking at, and here's, the activity that's going to help bring these thoughts into awareness. So number one, what we're going to do is start with recognizing what your current goals or objectives are. And again, I read your intake form, so I know some of you want to just be able to play with grandchildren. Some of you want to lose weight, stay on track with nutrition, lose sleep. I'm sorry, improve sleep, lower inflammation, losing weight, whatever objective that you have most pertinent for you right now. And if you have maybe a couple, I would do one or two. I wouldn't do more than that for this week's activity because we really want to dive deep. We want to have a really solid understanding of where we're at and where we need to go rather than a surface level understanding of many things. So really dive deep here with one or two goals that you might have for yourself. And maybe these are goals that are new for you, or maybe these have been roadblocks or obstacles that you've been experiencing for a long time. Maybe there's a diagnosis, maybe there's chronic pain that's been prevalent in your life for years, if not decades. If your goal is to get rid of pain and that's something that you want to work through, put that down. So what we're going to do next, after we have the understanding of what these goals are, is really doing a thought dump on your beliefs behind these goals that you have. What do you currently believe? And don't filter it or judge it. Just kind of do a word vomit, if you will, on your page. Use the back of the page if you need to. But you really want to figure out the things that you have thought about in the past things that you believe, things that you've been told, things that have been modeled for you. Maybe you're used to someone in authority saying, because I said so. So when you hear a physician or someone in authority say you can't be fixed, maybe that's something you believe. We don't know if it's true, but maybe it's something that you believe. Maybe you're someone that has a tough time sticking with a certain nutrition plan. All right. Just really write down, why do you think that is? Okay. What these things are, what's coming up for you. I've tried everything. Nothing works. Pain like this never really goes away. My body's just getting old, or I always fall off track. I can't heal because I don't have the time, energy, or money to focus on me. Whatever those thoughts are, get them down on paper. All right. So, those are the first couple steps. The first 2 days, the first two lessons, these are going to be a little more intensive to really get to the bottom of things. And we're splitting up this whole activity between lesson 1 and lesson 2. That way you can really take the time without it being overwhelming for one day's activity. Your third step is going to be to find the source. Okay. Where is this resistance coming from? Where did these thoughts or beliefs originate? Was it something that you were told? Was it something that you feel? Maybe you've been dealing with chronic pain or lack of sleep for so long, or low energy for so long that you just don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I will share with you that I have been there. There was a point where I didn't believe that there would be a happy ending for me in any way, shape, or form. I thought the next 70 years of my life were going to be lived in pain if I lived that long. Did things come from personal experience, or are these thoughts based on what you've seen modeled by others? So what you're going to do is write down what source that belief came from, because we want to address where the story came from so we can recognize if these are actually our truths. Because a lot of these, what you'll find over the course of the next week or two, is that these aren't necessarily your truth, and they don't have to be your truth anymore. Now, remember, we're not blaming others for what we think. We're just recognizing where these thoughts and beliefs come from. All right. Now, step number 4, what we're going to do is figure out whether these are serving you or not. Is it something that is supporting you or holding you back? Is it true? Is it just or is it just familiar? And who would you be if you no longer believe these? If this wasn't the programming running in your subconscious mind, what would be possible for you? So again, take some time to sit with this. You can do this at any point during the day that is most convenient for you. But remember, you are not your thoughts. They do not define you. You are simply the observer. We're observing without judgment so we can uncover these beliefs and reclaim our power. All right? We get to write a new one, and that is what a new story, rather, and that is what we are doing this week. So an affirmation that you might hold for today is, I am simply becoming aware of the thoughts and beliefs that shape my health. And awareness is the first step toward healing. Also, before you move forward, there is a form in the app. Let me know what came up for you today. What's your biggest takeaway? Maybe it's a thought or belief or feeling that you didn't realize you had. Or maybe you knew it was there, but you realized where it came from and that it wasn't really serving you. Maybe it's a shift that you had. All right, let me know, short and sweet, but I look forward to seeing how things go for you today, and we'll chat tomorrow. Bye.